Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. This is Howie, and I'm here to help you win with money. Today is Christmas, December 25th, 2022. I'm making a video to go over my results from last week's options trading. Before we go on, let's take a look at the market. The market turned green. You see that it was red in the morning, turned green. And the good thing about that was I put on a Santa Claus rally trade right when it was red. So I was able to capture some of the upside even before the day ended. So let's go straight to E-Trade. This is E-Trade. I'm going to hit the 7-day filter. I like to copy all the transactions out. We're going to open our pivot table in Excel. It looks like this. And then you paste it. I did it in the wrong field. And then I normally start massaging everything by deleting. I delete all the rows that I don't need, like these adjustments. The magic of editing. This is what it looks like for week number 51. Let's hit the save button. We'll go to the top. And there's my pivot table. Because I haven't filmed for the last 3 weeks, I actually had to come in here and so I hit refresh. Everything looks like it's right now. But I had to come in here and fix the last 3 weeks of data because a lot of my pivot tables rely on the previous week's data. So I just went and did this here and I fixed this and now it's looking the way I expected. It looks like it's fine. Here's my next pivot table. Let's expand that, hit the refresh, and you see everything is up to date. Because each pivot table is interrelated. So this is a great week. I made money. Now I didn't make a lot. I made about 600 bucks here. But the most important thing is I'm on a 5-week green trend, which is really good because it means that I'll probably finish the year somewhere between 27 and $29,000. So that's what I'm looking at. It looks really good. I don't expect the market to turn on me where I can lose a lot of money. If you compare this year to last year, I'm going to scroll over here. This is last year. And last year I did about 200 trades less. I'm up to 1514 right now. Last year I did 1308 and my average profit per trade was only about $15. This year is $18 so far. But you can see what happened. I was doing better last year and then I had this lost 2 weeks in a row here, 3 weeks here, and then lost one here, and it really killed me. I still made money last year. I was profitable, but I obviously did not finish the year strong. So this year looks really good. I would like to play a little bit more conservative this week, but let's talk about some trades. So we go back to the pivot table. First thing we're going to do is let's take a look at the 234 method. So we'll just do this here, and then I'm going to zoom in. So let's look at how much money I made in the 234. So this week alone, week 51, I made $191. Now, what does that mean? $191 doesn't sound like a lot. For those of you who follow my portfolio and my trading, 234 means I can never have more than $9,000 of capital used for this particular method, which means this week alone I made 2% using $9,000 of capital. And on top of that, if you don't think that was impressive, let's just scroll to the beginning of the year, which is over here. You see that? You see on the Excel, it's like row 10,000. This is week number 1, and you can see that trade number 8. So if you just do this, I made 4,900 and I think it's $35. Yep. So here's what I'm gonna do. 4,935. Let's just do this. So here, 4,935, $9,000. My return using this method this year is 54.83%. And that's awesome. I have one more week to go. For those of you who don't believe me, just follow my video. I have a YouTube series on this, and in the beginning of the year, I normally film about what I'm doing, and then towards the middle of the year, I sort of slow down, and then towards the end of the year, I start making videos again on this so that people can track my trades. And if you don't believe me, you can find my trades on Twitter. In Twitter, I post under Solving Chaos. When I do my trades, you'll see it here. I post them here. If you like a better forum, go to Facebook Investing 102. Excuse me. If you go to Facebook group Investing 102, here it's probably a little bit easier to see all my trades because you see it. I have a lot more room to describe what I'm doing. I'm just not limited to the 160 characters. So here you can sort of see exactly what I'm doing. Here's the trade. A lot of times I love doing my teaching in this forum, Investing 102. But this is where I talk about my trades. So let's switch and talk about the next trade. So let's remove the filter here. Let's go into the QQQs. So last week QQQ made me $50, but I don't risk more than 3,000 because I have free contract and I always go 10 wide. So last week I made 1.67% return, and I've been using this strategy on QQQs since week number 28. That means middle of the year. And if you see this, I made $420, never risking more than $3,000 at any given point, which means using this particular portfolio 6 months of the year, I made 14% gain. Don't forget, stock market is down about 18%, QQQs is down about 30%, Tesla is down about 50 or 60%. So this is why I trade options. You can make money, and doesn't really matter what the market is doing. Now, do I do this? Do I only use this particular strategy? No. Is my portfolio 52% total return? No, because I do other trades. I do things like cover calls, cash secure puts, credit spread, debit spread. I do a little bit of everything. So overall, my portfolio is probably up. I don't know exactly, probably up only like 10, 11% because I do have some drag. I have some cover calls in there. Now, what's the beauty of cover calls? So cover calls, most of the time, I can make money in multiple ways. If the share price goes up, I make money. But I also like cover calls because I can collect dividends. Now, dividends are not a lot. Most companies are not going to pay 12, 15%. But in my cover call strategy, I hold these stocks for 10, 20 years. So most of the time, I'm making money on the stock. But while I'm waiting to make money, I'm okay with collecting 0.5% dividend, 1% dividend. So let me show you maybe one or two examples of that. Here's an example of Bank of America. Last week I made $5, not a lot. The week before that, $7, and the week before that, $42, and the week before that, $12. Now you're wondering, how do I make money then if I'm only making $5? So I have 200 shares currently, but the first 100 shares I got it for less than $800. So you can see that if I'm writing cover calls on $800, it's a 0.5% rate of return. Now, some people say you got to look at the price of what it is today, which is about $3,400. So effectively, you're making only 0.1% a week, plus whatever dividends you collect. But again, my cost basis is so low that it's worth it for me to keep on writing cover calls every week. Again, my goal is to make money in 2 or 3 different ways. I like to combine all the strategies that I know together because my goal is to try to reduce risk. Dividends does reduce a little bit of risk. Options help reduce some of that risk also. So I like to compound all the things that I know together. I put a filter on AMD, and you can see AMD is the same thing. Cover calls. Last week I only made $28. The week before that, I made $1. The week or week number 46, I made $81. So you can see here's an example where, again, these type of strategies are not going to be capital effective because you need to buy 100 shares, and currently this now is about 100 shares is $7,000, and but I'm not buying the shares to write cover calls, so I want to make sure I remind my users and my viewers, I don't like people who put a buy right. I normally own these shares for multiple years before I even have a cover call on it. So I'm not using it as a buy right. I'm not trying to do the wheel strategy. I'm not trying to trade it for an hour or a few days. I'm actually holding, I'm a long term buy and hold dividend investor, and I use cover calls to add and supplement to the strategy that I'm already doing. So this is just another example of a cover call that I have. And anyhow, if you don't understand it or you have any comment or suggestions, please post below. I'm just really happy. I did a really great return this year. I have never lost money trading options in any calendar year. And for the most part, over a long period of time, I haven't lost money. So what I mean by that is I have to check. I think in all the quarters that I have traded, there was only one losing quarter. If you look at losing months, I think I have about 3 or 4 months where I lost money. And then if you break it into a little bit more granular, if you look at weeks, I do lose money when you talk about trading weeks. On average, in a 52-week year, I think I lose money about 10 weeks. And I think is my average right now, or somewhere around there. It's either 8 through 10 weeks where I lose money. Maybe it's 12. I don't know exactly. So I do lose money. Now, the beauty of it is, if I have more winning weeks than losing weeks, that's why I'm always profitable. And this is why I love options. Not only can I make money on options, but I also can use options to smooth out the risks of what I'm experiencing in my other portfolio. And what I mean by that is in my 401k portfolio, or in my ESPP portfolio, or in my Roth IRA portfolio. So this is a great year. I've done really well, and I'm looking forward to expanding and doing a lot more volume and a lot more trades and a lot more profit. I would love to bring this up and maybe double the size of my profit for next year. So we'll have to see how that goes. Obviously, I don't put a lot. Actually, I don't put any new capital in any of my trading accounts. I let them go. I let them grow naturally. The only accounts where I put new capital in is my 401k account. And the reason for that is I get a match on my money. But in all my other portfolios, I let them grow on their own, whatever they grow to based on what I do from trading, that's what it does. Hey, I have to run. I want you to win with money. And if you have any other ideas and comments, please post it. Let me know. I would love to think of a new challenge that I'm going to do for 2023. But until then, stick around. Let's do this together. Let's do this $1 at a time. Have a profitable day. Bye bye.